Yeah, it's on live on YouTube, Ji.
Yeah, that's good. Because yesterday, first session was not there on YouTube.
Yes. So we're starting on
I sent yesterday to a couple of people. So
good. So we are on record. So we invite everybody who to the third day of Sundarakanda Paarayanam, Sundarakanda, the lecture series on the Adhyatmic angle of Sundarakanda. And the first day, Shashikar Raoji was giving the good background of the Balakanda, Ayodhya-kanda, Aranya-kanda, and Kishkanda-kanda. He was giving the all the background information for us to get into the story part of the Sundarakanda. And yesterday, he continued where he left off, and he gave us a very good interpretation of a good introduction into Sundarakanda, good transition. And he also explored on the Adhyatmic angles of the Sundarakanda, Hanuman's reactions, interactions with Mainaka and other incidents which he had, challenges, atankas he had. So very good. The AAA, I like the AAA one. It's very good word AAA he has used. So now, and one request from Shashikar Raoji is that to all the participants to show up on the video mode to give him more interaction with the all our audiences. That's what his request. If possible, please log in through using the video mode. So Rao Garu, please start with on your discourse.
Namaste, Throtaon. Asatoma Satgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotir Gamaya, Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti 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 Sada Siva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Gurum Paramparam Vande Dayananda Saraswatyai Namaha. Atulita Baladhamam Swarna Saila Bhideham Dhanujavana Krusanum Jnaninam Agraganyam Sakala Guna Nidanam Vanarana Madhisham Raghupati Priya Bhaktam Vatajatam Namami. Tumaka Chalata Ramachandra, Tumaka Chalata Ramachandra, Bhajat Panjaniya, Tumak Chalata Ramachandra. Kilaki kilaki uthat dhaye, kilaki kilaki uthat dhaye, girta bhumi lat pataye, girta bhumi lat pataye. Dhaya mata godalete, gaya mata godalete, Dasharad Kiraniya, Tumak Chalata Ramachandra, Tumak Chalata Ramachandra, Tumak Chalata. This particular song really moves my heart. And I want today everyone who is here in the group, please come on to your videos, and I will tell you in a few minutes why I want you to come in my videos. because it's very important today. Today is a very important day, the third day. Please, that is very good. Please, all of you, come on the videos. I'll give a brief summary of what we did last day. And the brief summary goes, when the group which was going towards the south went into a cave, there was a cave, and the group consisting of Hanuman, Angada, and others, they went into that cave. It was Andhakaramaya. It's completely dark, absolutely nothing there. And when they were inside, they saw no illumination at all. They didn't know how to get in. But somehow they caught each other, they helped each other, and then they moved. And then they saw an illumination. The illumination, a prakash. Itna bada prakash tha wahan par. They were stunned. Inside this dark cave, how is this beautiful light has come? And they saw a beautiful palaces, beautiful township, beautiful trees, fruits, water, everything there. And when they saw all those things, they also found Swayam Prabha, a lady who was standing there. Swayam Prabha means self-illumination. So what does this particular thing signify to us? Initially, it is Andhakaramaya. Even Ramji, when he was born, initially when he was very small, he went Tumaka Chalata Ramachandra. And Bhanjati Panjaniya, Kilaki Uthat Dhaya Girat Bhumi Latupataya. And it is, even Ramchandra was learning things when he was born. He's a Maryada Purushottam. He's a human. He's one of us. And he also had to learn everything. In the same way, here, when they went into that guha, they were catching each other's hands and others when they were going through the dark space in the beginning of the guha. And that particular gruha, Andhakar Mayam, and they talked to each other, caught each other's arms, and each other helped each other. And they moved forward. What is that? That is called satsanga. And when you are in satsanga, you see each other. And in the satsanga, the biggest thing which people have to see is see the Ram in your heart. I see Ram in each one of your hearts. And when I see Ram in your hearts, I become very happy. And that is why I asked all of you to come on into the screens, because I want to see the Ram, the Bhagavan in your hearts. And the Bhagavan is in my heart too. All of us are having Bhagavan inside. And that is the whole thing about satsanga. To move the darkness away, illumination needs satsang. This satsang illuminates us like Swayam Prabha. And what is Swayam Prabha? Inherent self-illumination. That means Atma Prakash. And the Atma Prakash is Divyanand. When you get the Atma Prakash and you say Paramatma is inside me, it just gives you a happiness which is unimaginable. And when you reach that happy state, you suddenly find everything frivolous. Nothing matters anymore. There will not be ahankara, there will not be mada, there will not be matsarya, there will absolutely nothing. And that is why it becomes very interesting to have satsangs. And the Swayam Prabha, inherent self-illumination, Atma Prakash, Divyanand. Divyanand, this is not illumination from sun, moon, or stars. In that guha, there was no sun, no moon, no stars, nothing. The whole universe is not there. When they were in the Guha, the only thing they saw is the light which illuminated that particular area and what was built there and what was there. And that is called Swayam Prabha. That is your self-illumination. And the self-illumination only comes with understanding that Paramatma is in you. So Ramji is in every one of us. And when you take Hanuman as an example for this, वो चीर के अंदर दिखाया, वो चीर के दिखाया तो राम जी वहीं पर थे. So once you come to that kind of a stage, you just become the greatest bhakta. You know, that's why I wanted to see all the bhaktas who are here. Angat's misery started once they got out of that particular thing. Swayam Prabha said, I'm going to take you out and put you outside there. And she put them out on a small hill called Vindh Parvat. And there Angada's misery started. And what is Angada's misery? Because it is all illusions which he created by himself. Sugriva wanted Angada to go with Hanuman to the south. And he was sent to the south. And Angada said, oh, Sugriva is trying to have a plan to send me to south. If I don't find Sita in 30 days, he's going to kill me. He anyway was going to kill me and take the kingdom away. And that was not Sugriva's plan. Sugriva didn't want the kingdom. He did not even want the kingdom from Vali. Unfortunately, he was put in a compromising situation. So these compromising situations are for everyone. And so Angada's mysterious experience that this illusion started becoming more and more. And he started, just like all our presidential candidates, going and getting hold of all the people who are dumb and all some of the Vanaras and telling them, hey, this is what is happening. I'm going to be killed and this and that. And they all said, oh, real. Yes, Sugriva is thinking that they would kill you and then take the Raj away. And that's what happens when you have got people who are not in a satsang, but who are people who are there just to praise you, give you your glories, and do all the kinds of things. And so in this particular case, Angada was in that kind of way, this thing. And Hanuman went and said, Angad, that's not what Sugriva is thinking. Please listen to me. But he did not want to listen to him because his mind was so contaminated with illusions. And when the illusions were so contaminated, he did not want to hear about that. Then the only good thing which happened was Sampati intervened. Sampati was there on top of that particular mountain. He came, he intervened. And he said to all the people, hey, I know where Sita is. She went out this way. And I will try to tell you because I've got Divya Drushti. And so please don't think that you people are in any wrong place. And then Angada suddenly realized that it was not the plan of Sugriva to get him out of the Raj. And so they started moving down. And so this is what it says. And Valmiki wrote a very nice couplet on this one. Na vishade mahakaryam vishadosha vattaraha vishado hanti purusham balam krudha ivarogaha. We should not let sorrow, all illusion, enter the manas. Because once sorrow and illusion enters the manas, it is dosha vattaraha. It is like dosha. It is not right. And he says, Vishado hani purusha balam. It is like a snake biting a small kid. And it kills the viveka in you. It just starts becoming completely getting over the total body. And we heard Hanuman's story when he realized his Atma Prajna. And this Hanuman story again came when they went to near the sea. And he was sitting in one high corner, just doing Ram Jap. And everyone was worried, who is going to jump the sea? Because Sampati told them, Sita is in Lanka, she is in Ravana's abode. And so they said, okay, who is going to jump across the sea? And there were some Vanaras who were there who were capable of jumping. And they said, oh, I can jump 25 miles, I can jump 30 miles, I can jump 40 miles. And Angad said, I can go up to 50 yojanas, not miles. And when Hanuman didn't even say anything, he was keeping quiet and sitting there. Then Jambavan said, you people wait, don't worry about it. I will tell you. Let me go tell Hanuman. Let me talk to Hanuman. And he went to Hanuman and he told him his birth story. In the birth story, Hanuman flew to the sun and thought that it was a fruit and he was trying to catch it. And sun didn't know what to do. So he prayed to Indra. Indra decided he was going to use Vajrayudha to hit Hanuman. That Vajrayudha hit him on the side. And this Hanuma means this jaw, got hit. And that's why there's a big jaw, this thing there for Hanuman. And that's how he became Hanuman. And when he told that particular Viveka Jnanam, that Viveka, which is supposed to be there for Hanuman, that Viveka was given. And Hanuman heard all those things. And suddenly he found that his Atma Prajna came. When his Atma Prajna came and when he understood what he was, each one of us, every one of us, we do not understand what God has in store for us. But each one of us are capable of doing anything we try to set out. But the whole crux comes here. Even though God himself, like Krishna, comes and tells Arjuna that, hey, Arjuna, what is this? You're getting scared and other things. I am with you. And Arjuna knows he is God. But still, he gets into that particular situation where he doesn't know his own prajna. And so he did not even want to win the war in Mahabharata. And so this Atma Prajna was, and the minute Atma Prajna was given to him, he became big, he got up on the mountains, and then he took off, and his Udan started to go to Lanka. And I stopped at the place where he went to Lanka. He had 3 atankas in between. And I said there was something called Dushkaram. And I said Dushkaram was used 4 times when he has kept going. So Dushkaram means when he was going on the Akash trying to do Ramakarya, there was 4 times he used that particular word. When did he use those word Dushkaram? Dushkaram is Dukkhena Karana. Because you have a dukkha for something, then it becomes the reason for your what you were thinking. That is Dushkaram. When he took the flight, he used the word Dushkaram. Dushkaram is who is going to do the 100 yojanas. And that's a Dushkaram thing which he did. So he used that word in Dushkaram. The second one, the instant Mainak Parvat came in front of him and tried to put a thing to stop him. At that time again, he used the word Dushkaram. He says it's not easy to get rid of something which has come in front of you as an obstacle. And the third time he used the Dushkaram was when the story of Surasa came, which is the next one. And the fourth time he said Dushkaram was at the story of Samoohika. Those are the 4 times Dushkaram was said by Valmiki. And then if we see all these things, then we say, okay, this is all very good. How do we get out of all these things? And when I start thinking about how are we going to get out of this kind of a Dushkrutas, then it's only 4 things which are required to get out of this duskruta. One is dhruti, second one is drishti, third one is mati, and fourth one is dakshyam. Dhruti. Dhruti, in one sense, says sack of water. And when you see our kaya, the body, it is 80% water. It's like a sack of water. And drishti means buddhi kushalata. Buddhi kushalata. And that is from drishti. Drishti should be able to, when you see something, you should be able to get all the meanings out of it and understand it completely. That kushalata has to be there. That is what drishti is. In the sake of that particular big thing, he said, open the mouth, he became bigger, open the mouth bigger, and suddenly went in and came out. That is the buddhi kushalata of Hanuman. And then the third one is mati. Mati is intellect, consciousness, and judgment. These are the 3 things which are there in mati. And daksham. Daksham is daksha, is one of the words which comes from daksham. Daksha is steadfast thinking. Daksham is shakti, ताकत. किसको शक्ति है, किसको ताकत है, वो सब कुछ कर सकता है. So those are the 4 things which you learn from that Sundarakanda, that particular portion of Sundarakanda. Now we are going to take today's lecture, which will be, let us enter Lanka. Now we're going into Lanka. Okay. Satyam Shivam Sundaram. Satyam Shivam Sundaram. Ramavadha में काशी में शिव कान्हा वृंदावन में दया करो प्रभु देखूं इनको दया करो प्रभु देखूं इनको हर घर के आंगन में. ये काया जो है ना, ये घर का आंगन हृदय है. ये हृदय में रहना चाहिए. ये तीनों जब वो अपने हृदय में रहते ना, इसलिए दया करो प्रभु देखो इनको कैसे और क्या चाहिए. ये प्रभु दया करके अपने पे आने के लिए. धृति, दृष्टि, मति, daksha. Those are the 4 things which we are seeing in Hanuman. And so when Hanuman has all these 4, ये चीर के दिखाए तो राम अंदर है. इसलिए आप सब में मैं राम को देखता हूं. वही मकसद है. इसलिए I wanted to see everyone. Everyone has God in them. Sundare Sundaro Ramaha. Sundare Sundari Khatha. Sundare Sundari Sita. Sundare Sundaram Vanam. Sundare Sundaram Kavyam. Sundare Sundaram Kapihi. Sundare Sundaram Mantram. Sundare Kimna Sundaram. How can we not see anything other but Sundaram in Sundarakanda? In anything which Hanuman does, we only see the Sundaram, the happiness. Hanuman landed on Lanka, entered. He landed on a Parvat called Trikuta Parvat. On the Trikuta, no, Arishtagiri Parvat. I'm sorry. Arishtagiri Parvat, he landed. And after he landed on Arishtagiri Parvat, he said, let me see what this Lanka is all about. And he started looking at Lanka and everything around Lanka. And then he saw Trikuta Parvat. And on the top of Trikuta Parvat was the capital of Lanka, Ravana's abode, his palace and everything. He saw such beautiful, all gold glitter, everything glittering, everything great. And there were so many people there, so many Rakshasas there, and so many army people. And the Lanka had a big water all around it. It's called a Khandaka, which is a big water pool which is there. Inside that, there are a lot of crocodiles and alligators, and they had doors coming down for people to go in. And there was one particular place where all the people were going into the particular fort of Ravan. And he saw all that thing. And immediately Hanuman started worrying. What worry came on Hanuman? Hanuman started saying, he started some say analysis. First thing which we do is, as whether you got something coming, we say, oh, analysis of what's going on. How are we going to do this? How are we going to do that? And some say analysis. He said, Are Bap, I came 100 yojanas and I flew all the way and came here. And how are all those monkeys going to come here and fight? Who is capable of coming, jumping 100 yojanas? And who is going to go in the water with all those kind of whales and other things there? And it's going to be very difficult. So his analysis started getting him into trouble. And it started. Once the analysis starts, once the trouble starts, then the intolerations come. Then you get all kinds of illuminations, all kinds of things which are not true. Maya comes in. So he had to control his thought process. How would he control his thought process? We just said that we need Dhriti, Drishti, Mati, and Daksha. And Dhriti. So he said, I got to have that particular thing, Atma Prajna. I have to believe in my Atma. Ram is in me. I have to remind myself he is in here. And that Atma Prajna, and arrested that thought process completely. And he said, all those people coming here, all that is besides the point. Why did I come here? Mera laksha is to find Sita. If she is still alive, he didn't know whether she's alive or dead. So if she's still alive, I got to find Sita. One should always do self-analysis, like Hanuman, with clear mind. Once they do that self-analysis with clear mind, they will achieve purity. And once the purity comes into you, you become very strong. Balhavati eva. Ghatayanti hikarni dutaha pandita maninaha. He has come there as a duta, as an emissary. And he says, emissaries who are coming, emissary, this is the line from Valmiki Ramayana. He says, emissaries who have an ego of knowledge. If someone says, I got so much knowledge, that's wrong. That is ego of knowledge. That should not be there. That will spoil the primary purpose. The primary purpose of any knowledge is to share it with others. Saraswati is something which is to be shared with others. And when they share with others, it is others also will get the same knowledge. And what it is knowledge, when divided, multiplies. And when knowledge is not shared and kept like a dhan, it never multiplies. So that is a very simple thing. Knowledge is to be given. That's why satsangs are there. And he was cautious. He started thinking, what should I do? how do I am going to go about this? And the sun was still up there, and now slowly he's coming, sun was settling down, night was coming, and Hanuman started to think. Ajnane navrutam jnanam tena mukhyanti jantavaha. When you have ajnane in this particular sentence, Valmiki used ajnane for moham. Moham is desires and desillusions and egos and all these things. So when ajnane avrutam jnanam, when that kind of a moha avrutam jnanam, that means even though you know you have to be sattva guna, but rajas guna takes over, then this thing becomes very good. Tene mahyanti jantava. It doesn't help you. Human beings is what Valmiki has written. And then he comes with another just absolutely brilliant stanza. He says, Prabuddhopi shushustastaha shushitistaha prabuddhavan turyamalambya kayanta sistami sambhitastitihi. This is a very, very important thing. The first line says, I am awake, yet I am like in deep sleep state. I am awake. He's in deep sleep state. We keep talking about this all the time. You are sleeping very hard and you are in full deep sleep. And in that deep sleep, when you are there, you are in what is called sushupti avastha. When you are in the sushupti avastha, if you feel awakened, that means you are illuminated. Suddenly your mind is so calm, quiet, and absolutely nothing there. Then whatever enters is Paramatma. Whatever enters is God. And so he writes this one. So it's such a beautiful poem. I am awake, yet I am like in deep sleep state. How can I be awake in deep sleep state? And in deep sleep also I am awake, utilizing Turya Malambya Kayanta Stishtami Sambhitastitihi. So in deep sleep also I am awake, utilizing Turiya Sthiti. Turiya Sthiti is that sthiti which you go beyond your deep sleep state. And when you get to that particular Turiya Sthiti, it becomes a Sthiti Prajna. And this Sthiti Prajna is what even in Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna has explained to people. And this particular couplet comes in two places. One, it was in Valmiki Ramayana, and at the same time, it is also in Annapurna Upanishad. In Annapurna Upanishad, most probably you must have taken the plagiarized and put it in. So it's a beautiful, very, very fantastic thing. And when we understand that, then you are closer to getting to your Turiya Sthiti. And Turiya Sthiti is one of the best cities to be in. Hanuman thought all those things, and he really said, oh, this is where I'm going. And most probably all the people will be in the deep sleep state. And he says, let me become as small as a cat. Why did he use that cat? I don't know. It is very small. And so he became a cat. And he went towards Lanka. And Lanka has been guarded by a demon called a Lankini. And as a cat, he thought he can escape her catching him because he was too small. But Lankini did not. She found the cat. She said, "Hey, cat! Hey, hold! What are you doing? Where are you going?" And Lankini just, he saw her and say, "Just, I'm going to go into Lanka." "Why are you going into Lanka? You're not supposed to go to Lanka. And I'm not going to let you go into Lanka." Then Hanuman said, okay, and he became his true self, 6 feet Hanuman with all the Bahubali, everything. And I was looking at it, and Lankini saw him, and he said, "If you don't listen to me and if you don't get out of here, I'm going to give you a big slap." And so she took a thing, and then he just banged him once. And immediately Hanuman got a slap on the thing, and she suddenly turned around and she saw. And then she got very, very, very aggressive. And Hanuman said, "I just cannot see that she's a girl, she's a lady, and not hit her." And so he took his mushti and gave her such a big blow. She just turned around 3 times and fell down. And she did not. She said, "Oh my God." And then she got up. And she said, "Hanuman, wait a minute. Don't hit me. I am a lady. Don't you know you're not supposed to beat ladies up? Let me tell you a story." And in this particular place, when someone comes and when he takes care of me and defeats me, that is the end of the Rakshasas. And he says, and this particular thing is because of a shap. And the shap was given by a guy called Nandikesha. He's the one who gave the shap. And Brahmaji told Lankini that this shap is there, and as such, you better believe it. When someone comes like that, and when you does it, then it is the end of the Rakshasas, the dynasty. The whole Rakshasa dynasty will be killed. And so we don't worry about it. I'm not going to restrict you from going into Lanka. You please go into Lanka. Aham tu nagari Lanka swayameva pravangama is what she used. She says, "Aham tu nagari Lanka." I am Lanka itself. The whole Lanka is me. So when you have beaten me and put me down, you have actually captured Lanka. And what is that tell us? That tells us that she had a dehabhimanam. She thought her deha is very great. So what the hell, who can do anything for me? That dehabhimanam is not an easy thing to get rid of. And that is what a Rakshasa Samskriti is. When someone calls he's a Rakshasa, all he is nothing else but the fellow has great biggest ego. He has dehabhiman. And what is not possible for those people? Avyakta Paramatma. Avyakta Paramatma is for people who are pure. And those pure people will have Avyakta Paramatma in them, and they always look for the Avyakta Paramatma. For them, Avyakta Paramatma does not come into them at all. That is impossible for them. That's what Rakshasa Jati is. So when you go back and read this thing and understand, then what happens is Ravana knew that he had a kriya, karma, which he has to do. He understood the karma was that he had to do everything. He's a great learned man. He's one of the greatest learned men. So Ravana was not an ordinary person. So that particular Avyakta Paramatma and that Dehabhimanam, the Rakshasa Samskriti, is the one which got him down. Then the Lanka tour started. And Hanuman went, he got up onto the top. And usually everyone asks people to put their leg inside. And instead of doing the normal, proper leg putting in for good luck, he wantedly did the other way around. And he says, I'm not going to do that. It's bad luck for these guys. Why should I put this thing? And so he put that other leg and then got up onto the wall. He did not want to go through the Simhadwara. Simhadwara is the main dwar which is there for the fort. He did not go through that. He went through jumping over the wall. And he got into Lanka. And the first place he went was Ravana's palace. And the reason he went to Ravana's palace, because he thought that if there is Sita going to be anywhere, it is only going to be in Ravana's palace. So he went to the palace. And he did not want anyone to see him, so he still continued to be a small monkey. And he just went round without making any noises, without doing anything. He went and looked around and tried to see where Sita is. And he could not see Sita anywhere. And he went to every room and he saw so many ladies who were there in his harem. And they were all here and there and sleeping in all odd shapes and everything. It was such a big mess. He could not bear it. And he went to one particular room. In that room, there was this beautiful lady sleeping on the bed. And he said, this Ravana is not here. But what is this lady doing here? Such a beautiful lady. Is she Sita? Because he doesn't know who Sita is. He has not seen her. So he said, is this Sita? Let me find out. Is it Sita? It must be Sita. Then he sees her. She has all decked up with good things and other things. And he sees her and he says, it can't be Sita. So who could this be? Then he remembers that cave in which he was. In the cave, Mayu said that Swayamprabha told them, Mayu and Hema had a daughter called Mandodari. And he says, all those jewels are all so bright and so good. It got to be nothing, no one else other than Mandodari. And that is Mandodari. This is Ravana's wife. It is not Sita. And she said, oh my God, I can't. This is not the right place. She's here. No, I don't think Sita will be here. But where will she be? He didn't know. And he says, well, let me go and see some other places. And he went to another place where it is the Madhyapana, the area, the kitchen area, and that. And he saw Ravana drunk and sleeping there like a log. And he said, oh my God, this is what these guys do, Rakshasas. And he says, okay, let me go and see other places. And so he got out from the Ravana's thing and he started looking at where he should go. And suddenly he saw a beautiful one, and it had beautiful flowers, and it had a lot of fruit trees and everything. And it was called Ashok One. And Ashok One is a very odd name which Valmiki has chosen. Shoka is misery, or shok is sadness. And it says Ashoka. That means there's no sadness in that one. How can there be a one without sadness where someone is sitting and crying for Rama? And he went there and he sat at the top at one place and saw everything. He couldn't find anything. And suddenly he found her sitting under a tree and he was there. And he says, oh, I found Sita. Now let me just go immediately and try and talk to her. And so he went and he got up onto the tree where Sita was sitting and he saw her. And this is the neat thing about Sundarakanda. Sundarakanda doesn't have Rama. The character Rama doesn't exist in Sundarakanda. Hey, what are we doing? Always talking about Rama. We're talking about Rama, we're talking about Rama inside you, Rama outside you, everything. That is such an interesting book. The book is so amazing, the way Valmiki wrote. And so he started looking at everything. And then he says, okay, how am I going to get this over? And he starts sitting at the top of the tree and he recites the Rama story. He tells the Rama story once. So Sundarakanda has Rama story, full story told by Hanuman to Sita. And then when he starts telling this beautiful story of Rama and beautiful story of Sita, and how they had to go to forest, and how they went all over the place, and how a demon came and took her away from her kutir, and how she came over, and how she's here, and how Rama was walking through the forest trying to find her, and how much pain he has for her, and how much he's longing for Sita, and how he is really miserable in that particular state. And he tells all the story. And Sita sits there and starts listening and saying, how come there's someone telling me the story of my own story back to me? Who is he? And she sees up. He can't find anyone. And he says, oh my God, how does this happen? And I don't know. Maybe it is Raman who is trying to trick me into thinking that he is the one. And so she doubts it. She said, maybe we should not talk to him. And then Hanuman says, I got to continue, finish the story. And then he jumps down and comes in front of Sita and sees Sita. He says, I am Ramadut. Ramji, Jai Jai Ram. I am Ramadut and I have come. I am trying to find where you are. So I have come to you, please. And she says, no, you could be Ravan. No. I'm really Ramadut. And then Sita starts narrating the Ramayana again to Hanuman. The same Ramayana again started from Dasharatha, Kausalya, everything going all the way. She narrates the Rama story to Hanuman. And the analogy here is a very interesting analogy which we need to understand. This is what is the fantastic system of Guru Sishya Parampara. A story is told by Guru. Here, Hanuman like the Guru, and Sita like a student listening to Guru's story, and then she repeats back to the Guru the same story again. And this is the Guru Sishya Parampara kind of way. And it is a phenomenal way Valmiki wrote this. Vanaroham mahabhage duto ramasya dhimataha ramanamam kitam chedam pasye daiviya unguliyakam. And after she finishes the whole story, and he says, I got to somehow convince her that I am her friend. And so he says, Vanaroham Mahabhage. And he tells, I am Duto Ramasya Dhimataha. I am the Dut from Rama. Rama Namankitam Chedam. Pasya Daivangulikam. And he gives that ring which Rama gave to Sita. And that ring is handed over to Sita. Gruhitva prekshamanasa durtum karavibhushanam bhartaramiva samprapta janaki mudita bhavat. The minute she saw that karaunglitanam, the hand, it is always there. And when that ring came to her, she took it. And she said, having accepted the ring, seeing it, it felt it as if she got her husband back. That's what that poem says. She took the ring and she saw it and she was so happy. And she said, oh, it's such a beautiful ring. Oh my God, my Rama has come. My Rama has come. My Rama has come. And Sita was ecstatic. And she was completely out. And then she said, oh my God. And having accepted the ring, seeing it felt, she got her husband back. Tata sa Srimati Bala Bhatru Sandesha Harshita Paritushtu Priyantva Krutva Prasamsa Mahakapi. It is like, enough, I can't eat anymore. In the same way, this Hanuman felt very happy about everything. And Sita started remembering what? Priyantva Krutva Prasamsa Mahakapi. First of all, she's praising Mahakapi, who Hanuman. And then she is telling, she was Harshita, she was very happy about the gift she got. And she said, Paritusta Priyantatva. He was revising and recalling everything which happened with her and Rama and with reference to that ring. That ring is something which when you put to anywhere, the first thing you touch is the ring. Your ring is the first thing which touches. So she says to Hanuman, you know, when I used to feed Rama, and sometimes he used to say, no, I had enough. Please don't, I don't want more. And when he put his hand over there, I could see that ungli, that ring. And oh, I see. Oh, it's so good. It was so good. And then she said, sometimes he used to come and say, put his hand over me and say, Sita, come near me. And she used to pull me together. And when he did that, the first thing which touched me was the ring. That is the ring which has come here. I'm so happy. And the third one, my friends are waiting for me. Not now. I'll listen to you later. And when he says, stopped me, going and disturbing him when he was going to go and see some friends. Then also, I could see the ring there. Oh my God. And she was getting more ecstatic, more ecstatic. And when Rama ever touched Sita, the ring used to touch her first. And when they fought, this is a beautiful story. When Rama and Sita, sometimes they fought. When they fought, Rama used to say, okay, we got to make up with Sita because I can't stay without Sita. So what he used to do, I believe, is take that ring and he knows where he put it. He drops it someplace. Tung. And then he goes away. Say, Sita, where is my ring? Tell me. And then Rama used to go find it. Sita used to go find it. And she used to bring it. And she, oh, it is like I lost you. It's the same thing, and then they used to make up. Both of them used to make up. And in Valmiki Ramayana, one of the biggest, greatest things is the romance of Sita and Rama. And in Sundarakanda, this particular place, he actually explains that romantic feelings between the two and as recalling their young days and the romantic feelings between them. And then Hanuman closed his fingers and he said to Sita ji, Mataji, if you are agreeing and you are ready, tell me. I'm going to take you on my khanda and I'm going to take you away to Rama. You don't have to worry about anything. Even if you want me to bring Ravan with me, I'll bring him. And Sita saw him and then she said this. And this is from the Valmiki Ramayana. Tadeva kalute manye kapitvam hari yadhapa. Very interesting thing. Monkey commander-in-chief, you proved yourself to be a monkey. Very simple. It is like someone saying, hey, and this thing. Then he felt intimidated. He got so intimidated. He says, Sita ji, you think that I am just like any other monkey? Let me show you who I am and others. I guess his ego got hurt a little bit. Even Hanuman had to have his ego hurt. And then Hanuman suddenly became big, so big, and stood in front of her. And he said, he felt intimidation, and so he showed himself off. Don't doubt me. He said to Sita. And she said, Hanuman, come down, come down, come down. And then he again became small. And she says, if I go with you away, I am not going to let the Ramakarya to be completed. Ramakarya has to be completed. Because Ramakarya is what our vidhi is. And as such, I'm not going to come with you. We have to complete Ramakarya. And once he completes the Ramakarya, I will definitely be happy and we can go. So please, please, please. And this is what she answered. Then Hanuman said, Acha Mataji, I understand. Will you please do me something? Please give me something so I can take it with me and give it back to Ramji. And then she said, okay. And she took from her siras chudamani and then she gave it to Hanuman. And the chudamani is on the top of the head. That means that is the jnana position of everything. That jnana position, Shankaracharya used the same chudamani in order to say, gives jnana to people, and that is called Viveka Chudamani. So Vivekam is supposed to be the jnana, and Chudamani is supposed to be the jewel of the jnana. And that's how that book got named. Then once he got the Chudamani, he took it, he put it in. And then he asked her, do you mind if I eat some food here? There are so many fruit trees and other things. I want to take something, pal and others eat and do things. Then she agreed. She said, go ahead. You got my permission. And then Hanuman just went and he took everything and he demolished Ashokavan completely. As he was demolishing, there was big fights which happened. Jamumali came, he died. All the ministers' kids came, they all got dead. Then Akshay Kumar, they all got killed. And then Indrajit came. Indrajit is one who won over Indra. He has Brahmastra. He decided he will use the Brahmastra. He put the Brahmastra to Hanuman, and Hanuman saw the Brahmastra coming, and he said, I got to surrender to the Brahmastra. I'm not going to make Brahma feel bad. So that Brahmastra came and completely caught him, and he just acted as if he was defeated. And he was caught, was taken to the court. In the court, he was made to sit, and he saw Ravan in a big pedestal sitting on the top of it. So Hanuman wanted to be 1 inch higher than him. So he took his poonch and make a big round mountain kind of a thing, jumped up and sat above him. And Ravan asked, who are you? Why did you come here? All these things. He said, I am a Ramadut. I have come here to give you a warning that please send Sita back to Ram. If you don't send Sita back to Ram, then he is going to come and wage a war and he is going to take care of you. Earlier I said, Ravan is not illiterate. He is a jnani, phenomenal jnani. He knew what was happening. But he also knew that that is a destiny. And that destiny cannot be changed. And as such, he said, no, I'm not going to do any of those things. But he got angry about this guy. Then he's a Rakshasa. What is a Rakshasa pravritti? It is that particular way of being with mada and ego. And he says, come on, kill this fellow. Then his brother came to rescue and he says he's a Duta. Duta means he's an emissary. Because he's an emissary, you can't kill him. And so please don't kill him. You just send him away. Then he said, okay, what is most favorite for him is his poonch. So light fire to his poonch. So light was lit to his poonch. Then he took the poonch and he went out. They left him and he got up and used the fire to light up whole of Lanka. And Lanka dahan ho gaya thi. All the people in Lanka were helter-skelter. They were all going. All the things came and everything. And once he completed that Lanka dahan, he says, how am I going to stop this thing? And when the fire god knew that it was Hanuman's poonch which they lit up, and so he did not do anything to that poonch. It was always very, very soft it was. The fire was not hurting him at all. And on the way back, he put the poonch in the ocean, got it cooled, and then went back to his group there. And they all said, let's go back to Ram and tell him the story that we have found Sita. We are ready for the war. We are ready for the battle. And as soon as they all joined and they started going towards Rama, there was Madhuvan, which is a beautiful thing, just like Ashokavan, a beautiful place where there were so many fruits and other things. All the Vanaras, the monkeys, wanted to eat all the fruits and everything in Madhuvan. And they asked Angada. Angada, by that time, now has gotten the mindset which is with jnana, and he has started looking at discriminatively the things, and I was not going into this illusionary setup. And he said, I know we have done right. We have got Sita. We have got good news. And when we go to Rama, I don't think Sugriva is going to disagree with me when I tell him that I have let you eat all the food in this particular thing. So they all went and they started eating the fruits, throwing them out and doing monkey business there. As they were doing monkey business, but the Mali, who used to be in that particular garden, he ran to Sugriva and complained. And Sugriva and Ram were there. And Sugriva said, "Oh, that's good. They are doing that." And the Mali says, "What do you mean that's good? You give me sixth degree if I don't take care of that one the proper way. And now you are saying it's okay, let them do whatever the monkey business they want. That doesn't look right." He said, "No, no, 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 no. When they are doing that kind of a monkey business, all it tells us is they found Sita. So the good news is coming. So don't worry about it." And then Hanuman went, and for the first time in Ramayana book, Ram gets up and gives Hanuman a alinganam. That alinganam is a hug. And Ram never gave hugs to anyone. There were only 3 people who Ram gave hugs. And that thing I'm not going to tell you who the 3 are, because that will be a nice good thing for you to go to your Google Amma. Google Amma is the lady in this computer. And if you ask Google Amma, tell me who are those 3, it will tell you. You can find out who those 3 are. Okay, Alinganam. And the only thing I can say after all these things is this Sandesh which Sundarakanda has given is a Sandesh which is Amrita Sandesh. It is Amrit for people to have that Sandesh. And I'm thankful to Madhava Rao ji asking me to give this pravachan. And it is a pravachan which every Hindu should hear and learn and understand. And I hope this is in YouTube and it will be seen by as many people as they can. But the interest to get to that adhyatmika level and understand it and use it for their day-to-day life with the 4 very specific items which we talked about. We talked about drishti, dhruti, drishti, mati, and daksham. And those 4 we should be always keeping with us. That is Atma Prajna, Buddhi Kushalata, Mati, and Shakti, Takat. That gives us Takat. And just like Hanuman, we need to, ये देह के आंगन में, ये देह के आंगन अपना हार्ट है, ये हार्ट में राम को बिठाना चाहिए, वहीं पर रखना चाहिए, राम को, कृष्ण को, शिव को, सबको. And जब you do that, then you have the Atma Sthiti becomes Jnana Sthiti. And when you get to the Jnana Sthiti, you're going to slowly go get Sthita Prajna. Sthita Prajna is the equanimity which you're supposed to have in leading your life. Okay. Atulita Baladhamam Swarna Saila Videham Danujavana Krusanam Janinam Agraganyam Sakala Guna Nidanam Vanaranam Raghupati Priya Bhaktam Vatajatam Namami. Om Swasti Praja Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahisham Go Brahmane Mastu Subhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshatu Parjanyaha Prithivim Sasyashalinim Deshoyam Kshovarahitaha Brahmana Santu Nirbhaya Asatoma Satkamaya Tamasoma Jyotirkamaya Mrityorma Amrutam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Jai Shri Ram.
Thank you, Rauji. It's a wonderful discourse giving a summary of Sundarakanda and the message of Valmiki Mahamuni through Sundarakanda to all of us. It's a very, very well summarized. If anybody wants to give your points, you are is welcome. We will take a couple of comments if anybody has any comments.
Sir, I had one.
Boliye ji.
Can I ask?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. Shishari Raoji, you talked about Darpan
Yes.
the first day. And to me, I think it translates into self-introspection. And when we do self-introspection, it's a very, very tough exercise because we are often hallowed by rather camouflaged by our own ego, by our own achievements, by our own what we want to do. They may be all false, but we are. And that doesn't allow us to really have a realistic introspection. What is the way to basically do that introspection? What is the process that needs to be there so that we can have a realistic introspection and really do a course correction in our lives?
Okay. It's a very simple analogy.
Yeah, please go ahead.
In our here, I talked about the genesis of Ramayana. And the genesis of Rama is go back to Sanaka Sunandana Sanat Sujata, Sanat Kumara, the 4 Brahma Kumaras. And the Brahma Kumaras actually are the people, reason why we have Ramayana, Mahabharata. And the reason why these Brahma Kumaras come to work there, the reason why it became 3 lives instead of a complete 12 lives on the earth for Jaya Vijaya is because they had an opportunity given by Vishnu's intervention, and the 12 lives they had to do it with bhakti and being jnani and doing a good karma, and then finish the good karmas and 12 lives, and then get back to Bhagavan. Okay? And now, what is the difference between those 12 lives which they live, in case they lived it, or the 3 lives which they are living, which were Hiranyakasipa and Hiranyaksha, Ravana and Kumbhakarna, and Shishupala and Dantavakta. These are the 3 people. And then Ravana Kumbhakarna's story is Valmiki had a 3rd name for it, Pulasya Vadha. And so if Ramayana was called Pulasya Vadha, it is a Rakshasa book about Rama being bad and Pulasya being right. Okay, so anytime you come, it is very difficult to differentiate between the 2 sets, right and wrong. And when you start differentiating right and wrong and then come into this Maya and make Maya as a priority where you're going to use your logic and pragmatic logic, then what happens is the whole Maya becomes overpowering, and it becomes so overpowering, you're going to say, what is nonsense is this? This Darpana Drusyamana Nagari Tulyam is absolute garbage. It doesn't mean anything. Because Darpana Drusyamana Nagari Tulyam is only applicable when you get to a particular level of Atma Vijnana, Viveka. And in order to get to that Viveka, You have to understand the beautiful four stanza of a poem which we have got. Asato ma satkamaya, tamaso ma jyotirkamaya, mrityorma mritam gamaya, om shanti shanti shanti. In this one, you have to understand what is sat and asat and what's the difference between them and how do you get to the sat. You only get to the sat by negating what is asat. Okay? Now, Hiranyakashipa, for him, what was Sat? Negating God. He is not God. When he says he is not God, then he got to be God. Once he says he is God, he is in the Raja Yoga of Bhagavad Gita. When the Rajas comes in, your ego takes over, and when it takes over, you get into that spin. Okay. Even that spin is not bad. You see, that's what we got to recognize. You can be the most rotten person in this world, but if you continue to keep Sri Ram in you and believe in it, which is Atma Parijnanam, and that Atma Parijnanam, once it comes to you, whatever you're doing, whether it's right or wrong, you will have a very good soft logic which will come, which is not pragmatic logic. For pragmatic logic, there is no black and white. There's only one thing, black and white. This is black, this is white. And they have no intermediary thing. But Vijnanam, Vivekam, is a discriminative thinking and discriminative logic. When you come to discriminative thinking and discriminative logic, you say, hey, black and white are shades of colors. There's so many colors in that. There's 7 colors. What are you talking about? And the minute you understand there are 7 colors, black, white, green, blue, doesn't matter what it is. All of them are the same. Okay? So it is how you prepare your mind to understand the reality and how you can negate these things. So when I was working in the working force and when I was in meetings, I used to sit there and they used to do things which are so rotten. And when they did that things which are rotten, as one of the people sitting in that meeting, I had 2 choices. Say, yes, you're all rotten. You people are talking nonsense. I'm not going to sit here. I'm going to get away. Then my logic is not right. Because I say, I am here for a karma and I'm doing my karma, but I am submitting all my things to God and I am not the karta for them. I am not doing it. I am being forced to do it. And when you get to that knowledge, and then it becomes Atma Parijnanam. And when the Atma Parijnanam, you say, Ramji, मैं नहीं करता हूं, but चलने दो. And that is why in Bhagavad Gita, he keeps telling you, you have to, samarpan should be to God. Karta is not you. Karta is your vidhi. Rama's vidhi was to kill Sugriva or Vali. That is why he killed him. And I did not go into details of the Vali Vadha when I was doing preamble for the thing, because Vali Vadha has a huge big background in it, in which is Ram right in killing Vali like that? Is Ram wrong in killing Vali like that? And Sugriva didn't ask Ram to kill Vali.
Rauji,
Ramji himself.
I think we need to wrap it up at this moment. It's getting 8:20. I'm
Okay.
sorry to and also one good. I requested Rauji to give a talk on Sunday, summarizing the essence of what he has been talking. What he's giving a talk on Sundarakanda message, because we are celebrating on Monday. We're going to have the Hanumat Jayanti. And Saturday, we are going to have celebrating the Ram Navami marriage, Rama Kalyanam. So Sunday he's going to give a short talk on the message of Sundarakanda. So please come for the talk on Sunday at 11 o'clock. And now I request Pampos ji to sing Mangalam, please.
Thank you very much, Shishaji Rauji. And thank you very much, Madharavji. Super.
Thank you, ji. Thank you.
Excellent.
Bhayahara Mangala Dasharath Ram Jaya Jaya Mangala Sitaram Mangala Kara Jaya Mangala Ram Sangata Shubha Vibhagodaya Ram Anandamrita Varshakaram Ashrita Vatsala Jaya Jaya Ram Raghupati Raghava Raja Ram Patita Pavanam Sitaram Raghupati Raghava Raja Ram Patita Pavana Sitaram Raghupati Raghava Raja Ram Patita Pavana Sitaram Bhayahara Mangala Dasharath Ram Jaya Jaya Mangala Sitaram.
Jai Hanuman, Jai Sri Ram. So thank
Jai
you very
Sri
much for everyone who joined today for this satsang. I thank you, Shashikar Rauji, for your wonderful summary of the Sundarakanda. So we'll meet again next time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, sir. God bless you all.
Thank you.
कुछ बोलना चाहते हैं आप? You're on mute. You're on mute. You're on mute. Mute.
Okay.
Oh,
It was very beautiful. The way you did the presentation of Sundarkand, it was just amazing. Very well done with all those 4 concepts that you talked about: Drishti, Mati, Dhruti, and so all those 4 very nicely put. And I think it was really important to attend this. Thank you for letting us know. So yes.
people have to have that jignasa. If they don't have jignasa, they're not going to listen to anything.
Yes, yes.
And you know, I want to say one thing, that I like the way you do it, the way Swami Dayananda Saraswati did it. He takes you all around and bring it back, and in nutshell, you know. So, and sometimes, you know, so what's the purpose of going this thing? But when you bring it together, you know, to the end, you say, okay, that makes sense. So,
There was one thing that I have always wondered, and maybe you can answer me later. But, you know, we always say, oh, Kali Yuga is this and that. But then I'm thinking that even Satyug, you had asuras.
Yes, they were.
Even the Upper Yuga, you had asuras during the Mahabharata time. And Kali Yuga also, you have more asuras. Are just increasing, I guess. So it was not that Satyug was, everything was nice and beautiful and no wars. So it is I think it's a way of life of this
The
universe.
good and bad exist all the time.
It exists.
And
all the
you
time.
have to be doing like a what do you call obstacle course.
Yes.
So you get keep jumping over them.
Yes.
When you
yes.
get something which is not nice, not good to you, you have to
Yes.
jump over them.
Yes.
Don't keep telling that I can't jump over that thing. Okay,
Yes.
that's coming to me, and I got to somehow tackle it. If you're
Yeah.
going to tackle it, oh God, it's life is like fighting Muhammad Ali in a dark ring,
Yes.
and one pound he hits you, you're dead. Okay, and so it is every time when you start talking about jnana and talking about God and talking about these things, you got to realize that that is something which you got to, by your own self, understand what is right and wrong. You know, we're doing Vivek Chudamani, that keeps on going. And we get till 548 verses. And at the end of 548 verses, most probably you'll suddenly say, I got it. I know what he means.
Yeah.
I know what it means. Paramatma is in you. And once you get to that, and now if someone comes and says, I am in Manomaya Kosha and I can't get out of it, and you are talking about Dharmana Drishyam, then nothing I can do about it. Okay, so you got to understand Manomaya Kosha, then you say, I can't go into Dharmana Drishyam. It is not what I say, Chitka mantra. Chitka mantra means ask a question and you just say, and then it's gone. If that's done, well, we got gurus. Why do we go to a guru and spend so much time with a guru? Say, please tell me, please tell me.
I think
So it becomes very difficult.
the lessons of Ramayana and Mahabharata are applicable in day-to-day life, because all that kapat, cunningness, all these situations, they come with innumerable illustrations of
Yes.
how you monitor with all these doing all kinds of
And Rama is the right one to answer all those questions. That's why I was telling to Rajendra ji about Wali. The death of Wali is a very intriguing thing. Rama, how could he go and kill Wali? Kind of. He says that he did adharma. That's why he killed him.
he did what?
Vali did
Adharma.
dharma.
Adharma, yeah.
And that is the reason I killed you. I did not kill you because you did something wrong or something.
Yes.
You did
But
adharma.
But
That
that's
is
why
what
he
it is, the
becomes.
dharma. If you do dharma and do something which is wrong, then you can't do anything.
Yes.
If you are driving your car on the street and a squirrel comes running in front of your tire and you crush it, what can you do? You can't do anything. Suppose the squirrel is sitting there quietly and saying, okay, you're coming, what you can do? And if you see the squirrel ahead of time, then you stop the car. Or I stop it for a squirrel.
Yeah.
I say, hey, don't come. That comes in, and then suddenly I say, I stop my car and say, go. And it goes away. And once it goes away, you can go. But if you are going in a fast thing and then you crush it, then what can you do? You can't do anything. You are not responsible for it.
Yes.
So that's a very difficult thing for people to understand. I don't blame Rajendra Tushusar, because that's the way it is. But the only thing which I always blame anyone is this. They don't want to go beyond those murtis which are there.
Yes, that is what I think.
When the murtis are there, they can't understand how come there is something behind the murtis, which is the darpanam. There it just goes away. Puff. And the minute the murtis appear there, and they say, these are the murtis, I got to do something for this murti, then you are in
It's on a cycle of just keep on pouring more, milk, buttermilk, honey, and everything on it, and it's
नहीं चलेगा.
Murti,
राम जी कितना मिल्क लगाए.
exactly.
So
know,
it doesn't
I was-
come that way.
yeah. I was a chairman.
It's there in the books.
Yes.
It's there in the books. And it is there because it is something which people have to very quickly understand the idea that God is in you. Okay. And everyone, if you talk to them, they all say Madhav Seve, Madhav Manav Seva. And say Seva to Madhav is Seva to Manav. So that's right, that's true. And I'm going on that route, then you can't stop him.
Correct.
And I went on that route till I'm 80 years old. And now I'm on this route. When I got into this route somewhere near 65, 55 to 65. And then I said, there is something more to this than what meets the eye. That is that jignasa. That is the interest in it. This is there. We've been talking. How many people come? No one comes. And Madhavarao had one Veda hour or something like that. And then they read Bhagavad Gita and they just to read the translations of the Gita and translations. One day I attended it. I said, I can't do that. If I really want to read the Bhagavad Gita and then read the translation, then why should I have anything else?
Yeah.
Because Maranam has to be there. Maranam is, you have to do the introspection by yourself. And that was a question which he is asking me, Rajendra Tushusa. But again, we are time bound in these things. So there's nothing we can do.
Each their own journey, I feel. To each their own journey. There are millions of people, but then the journey is taken by some of them.
And now he's asking me to come and speak on Sunday, and he says, you got to do it in 20 minutes or 25 minutes.
That's-
25 minutes, how can I teach that big subject there?
Yeah.
So I'm just going to tell 3 or 4 small stories there and say, hey, this is what is there in Sundarakanda. If you want to know more about it, please watch my videos. They are on the
Exactly. Good. Very good. I like it.
That's good.
That's the way I'm going to do it. I'm not going to. And neither do I want to shortchange them.
Yes.
Okay, this shortchanging, I don't like shortchanging anyone. Because shortchanging is, you are leaving them in a limbo.
Yes.
Yes.
You give,
There's a Trisanku Swarg supposed to be there. You know, Trisanku Swarg. That is neither Swarg nor Bhumi. In between.
in between, yeah. Hanging them in the air. Yeah.
Yeah. So that I don't like to do. That's their thing. Okay.
Okay,
All right.
namaste.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye. We'll come. We keep telling we'll come. And my wife always has something or other. So
Whenever you're ready, it's fine
Yeah.
with us.
Okay.
Here. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. Namaste.
Namaste. Yeah, bye, Shia.